track the vehicle, we saw that the vehicle has now been sold.
Correct, Advocate.
And it was sold to Omar Motor.
Correct, Advocate.
Which is the same dealership that also you bought your BMW from.
Correct, Advocate.
Now, what's your relationship with this dealership?
Business relationship.
When you say
client and or customer relationship.
Oh, so when you say business, you mean you are a customer of theirs?
Yes.
And you have no interest beyond being a customer?
Nothing. Advocate.
The Special Investigation Unit along SAPS swapped in an Omar Motor Den in eMalahleni and arrested its owner, Yusuf Omar. What is the charge? Is the contempt of court and actively trying to hide a luxury Bentley Continental GT linked to alleged hospital tender kingpin Hangwani Maumela. According to the SIU, this Bentley was under a preservation order, but instead of handing it over, the car went on a wild pepper trade, moving from the Maumela Family Trust through multiple entities to Omar's Motor Den and allegedly to another trading enterprise just months ago.
But he has been denying that that vehicle is here.
100%, that's correct. There is yes, give your report, sir. No problem.
The faces of the curators and members of the SIU for their protection, investigators of the SIU. But that gentleman who was addressing us now being taken from the doors of the dealership to so that the SIU members, together with the South African Police Service, can go ahead to look for that said vehicle. But like I mentioned, the SIU mentions that since the preservation order was given, this vehicle, which has been spoken about, the Bentley, has exchanged hands at least 3 times, sold for over 3 million. But they believe that vehicle is here, and once they're given permission to go inside, and I believe the paperwork that one of the curators has is the actual court order which was granted by the special tribunal, which the SIU approached this morning.
Investigators argue that these paper shuffles were a front to hide the assets, while the actual car remained stacked right at the dealership. When authorities first showed up today, the owner refused to cooperate, triggering an immediate arrest, facing a jail cell, and he quickly changed his tune, handed over the keys, and granted access to the dealership's CCTV footage.
Here for is to grant. We have received a preservation order, and what we are here to do basically is we have received the 2 orders this morning. There was an order that was granted at 11 o'clock, and this is pursuant to the order that was initially granted because we found that there was a violation, there was a disregard to the order that was initially granted. So what we are seeing here, it is not necessary. What is happening here is not supposed to be happening, because we are simply here to execute a court order. And that shows that there was a part, as part of the investigation into the Tembisa Hospital irregularities, there was an order preserving the assets. So we found that sometime around the 12th of May, through the curator bodies that we have appointed, we found that there was a movement in relation to the vehicle as one of the preserved assets. And what we are here to do is to ensure that that order that was granted, to the effect that there is also a need to arrest. That is what the court judgment is actually saying. Basically, we are here to also take that car, but also the order further directs that in case of any difficulty, the owner of this property that we are at should appear before court sometime early in July. I think it is around the 3rd of July, wherein to answer as to why he should not be held in contempt, because what we are seeing here basically is to be in contempt of the court, to fail to implement the safeguards by the preservation order.
I understand that this car has been sold for more than 4 times.
Yes, the investigation actually found that pursuant to the preservation order, the car has actually moved from one dealer to the other, and what actually is happening is that there was never a physical movement of the vehicle. It's only money that has exchanged hands. So in some instances, it's about 4 times that the car actually never left the dealership, but money had been paid. And one of these instances is that when the curator was actually doing a routine check in relation to the irregularities, that is where they picked up that indeed the car had been sold, and hence the photographs and hence the order that we are here for.
We're seeing movement with the South African Police Service moving in. Are we with the investigators your investigators, the curators and the staff, have they been able to identify the third vehicle?
Yes, the vehicle in question has been identified, and as we see, we are joined by the police from around here in Witbank, because we have identified the vehicle, and we are ready actually to come to take the vehicle in question so that it can be held in the custody of the curator, Bonis.
I understand that there are more other 5 vehicles that are linked to Omar Moumela here.
Yes. Preliminarily, those other vehicles have been found. This is actually a property that has in the main been where the vehicles have been kept, yes, and including this very same one that we are seeking to pursue now. But of importance to us is that as and when there is a preservation order to the effect that property should not be dissipated, should not be dealt with in whatsoever manner, it should be respected as such. A court order ought to be implemented, and the reason why we are here is because the respondents failed to respect or implement the provisions of the court order.
There's people already that are saying that high chances the CCTV footage is already tampered with and that they might not get what they want. Because what has been said by the SIU is that days before there was an information that that particular vehicle was parked outside of the this dealership. Hence, they had a belief, so much so that the dealership actually has the car. The special tribunal has now ordered Yusuf Omar to appear in court on July 3rd to explain why he shouldn't face final imprisonment for contempt. As the SIU traces 26 syndicated vehicles worth 200 million, the message is clear. The state is coming for the stolen money, the luxury proxies, and the supercars bought with funds meant for public health care.
Because they want access to my cameras. Yeah. For what reason?
It is part of the order.
Yeah, but they are supposed to serve me with a document, and because the SIU knows who's my attorneys, they must send it to the attorneys.
It seemed as though you were not cooperating for a moment.
It's not I'm not cooperating. You don't come with 50 police on top of me and say do this. That's why I'm not going to do anything. I'm willing to comply with the police, and they can take me in. I don't have a problem.
So you're not going to give them that CCTV?
I said I'm complying. Goodbye.
Well, it seems as though
that is Mr. Omar. We don't.
Also, another important thing that I wanted us to quickly look at is the testimony of Nkhwashu at the Madlanga Commission. Nkhwashu also used the services of these people, the Omar dealership. He bought a car there, and this is what he said at the Madlanga Commission.
Thank you, Advocate. The allegation of removing number plate commissioners, it has been alleged that I removed the number plate of the car I was driving to conceal my identity when I went to Groenpunt prison. I deny these allegations because it did not happen. I could not conceal my identity after having spoken to the area commissioner and identified myself. When I arrived at the gate to the officials there, I also identified myself. I signed the access register using my full names and as they appear in my identity card. And my visit was recorded. It will be upset to remove registration plates after openly identifying myself to both the officials. The truth is that my car was new at the time and had not yet been issued with formal registration plates. It was fitted with a temporary permit which is in accordance with the Road Traffic Ordinance Act. And this permit was issued from the dealership where I bought this particular vehicle, which is Omar's Motor, situated in Mayerton, Vereeniging.
Bank accounts, we noticed there that particularly in 2025, Omar Motors makes monthly payments to you. Can you see those? Every month there's about 2 payments. A payment would be of 13 and then it's followed by 32,000. Can you see that?
I see that, Advocate.
And maybe that's just in 2025. If you start at 2024, at the top of the page, you'll see that there's a number of payments, some of which are bulk payments, and they're referenced as trade-in values. And they even mention which vehicle those payments related to.
Correct, Advocate.
But later on, the payments don't have the same reference. And in particular, from late 2024, they're consistently, they're regularized and it's the same amount. So if you go to, oh goodness. You know where it starts with, after there was a payment of 159,350. 305, that's...
The font is very...
the font is very small.
Yes, Advocate. And
so you can't see it.
I really struggle to see.
Maybe my point really is this, that particularly in 2025, we see consistent payments twice a month, first of 13,000, followed by 32,000 every month. Is there a reason for this?
Correct, Advocate. As you have read this spreadsheet, I have, as you rightfully said, I have sold my X5 vehicle to buy another X5 in that dealership. And on the other amount that you see, actually I bought in totality 3 vehicles in that dealership.
Yes.
Yes, so these monies that you see is for the vehicles that I have sold them, which is, you say, is captured as trade-ins. So the money for the trade-ins is being paid to my account every month.
Is there a reason?
And now with this information that is resurfacing with the Omar being accused of being part of the assisting the cartel in a way to hide their vehicles, it's not a shocker, because even with Nkhwashu said this. What is worse is that Brigadier Nkhwashu was also receiving monies from this Omar Motors. There was exchange of monies. This is, guys, you must remember, this is the man who was linked with Katiso Molefe. A man who was assisting Katiso Molefe, who's a member of the cartel, and whom it can be argued that he knows Hangwani Maumela. Guys, what's with Omar's dealership and the relationship that he has with the Big Five cartel? Still the question that I'm going to ask you as South Africans.
Reason why these are monthly payments as opposed to lump sum payments like it usually is?
Yes, my understanding is that if you pay on a monthly basis to the account, you are not when you pay the lump sum to the finance, you are losing, because they are charging you interest. So when you get a monthly payment from the dealership, you're also benefiting because you're charging them also the interest.
I'm not sure I follow. So you agree to a monthly repayment because it would benefit you?
Yes.
And if these numbers were checked against the value of the cars, we would find that you were paid exactly what the car was traded in for?
Exactly, Advocate. That's how we calculated it.
All right. I will say that we have begun investigations on this, and one thing that we can note is in discussions with the dealership, it was mentioned that this was your agreement. You insisted on monthly payments. This is not something that they regularly do. Do you have a comment on that?
No comment, Advocate.
Do you
I agree.
accept that it was your agreement?
Yes.
And just lastly, if we are to check the values that are being paid for these cars as against the values that you've also declared to SAPS, it would be the same?
It will be the same, Advocate.
We also heard from Lieutenant General Mkhwashu, guys, if you remember, when he was speaking about him being the national head of organized crime. He did make it clear that they're going to come for this dealership. They're going to come for them because they're the ones that are actually enabling these criminal activities. Nonetheless, guys, let me hear what you think. Otherwise, I'll see you on my next upload. Bye.
Government's approach that the proceeds of crime, whatever we recover from there, get to be disposed, and the revenue collected is kept in a specific fund, which is CARA fund. So we've been asking Treasury to help us with this CARA fund because we want to run these operations, and they've been generous by started allocating that. We started in the past 2 years working at the mines, and we're using the same funds to run this operation. So the plan is, if you're criminal and you are involved in organized crime and you live large, ours is to make sure that we investigate, we confiscate, we dispose of the asset, we recover the loot, that the money that has been recovered from whatever asset that we disposed of, we put into a CARA fund. The CARA fund finances operation. So the long-term plan is to be self-sufficient by the very same criminals.